Hi, my name is Pam Denny. I'm an analytics architect with the IBM Maximo Asset Management team. And I am so excited as we continue our videos on Maximo 761 and Cognos Analytics. And today we're going to look at report creation. We're going to start with a standard enterprise report, and then in follow-on demos, we'll explore active report creation. Cognos Analytics offers you a web-based report development tool that enables you to create a range of reports, from the very simple type of report that I'll show you today to a very technical one, very detailed, enterprise-oriented, and also active reports. And active reports are where the end user can actually interact with the content. Again, I'm going to show you a very simple report that could be easily created by a Maximo business or power user. Many of the features that you'll see in the reporting tool for Cognos Analytics are the same that you'll see in Dashboard, and this makes it so nice as you navigate between these various tools. As you create a report, the first thing you'll be prompted for is selecting a template. You can also select a theme to change color types. It has a phenomenal search capability, and search is so important as you're trying to find that particular attribute through the tens of thousands of attributes available in the Maximo database. That can be very, very helpful. Drag and drop features make your report creation time much, much simpler. And as you go into the more complex reports, it has this very powerful expression builder where you can create calculations and help create filters. And again, as I noted, very simple to complex reports. But what we really want to see today is a demo of the functionality. So let's get started and create this very, very simple report. A couple of things that's very important that you might note here is it does have some very nice grouping that you defined. So I've actually grouped on the location level. There's a number of aggregations on our different cost fields. And as you'll see as we get into this, it also has a filter. So let's get started and go right over here to Cognos that I have opened up. And previously in our demos, I had created a data module with asset and company information. And that's what I'm actually going to start with today. So I select my data tile and I'm going to create a report. And what that does immediately is it brings up my templates. I'm going to select a blank template. I could get into some themes and colors if I wanted to, but let's keep things very, very simple here to start. And I select OK. On the far left-hand side, you can see that my data is highlighted. This is the actual data that I have, my asset data, company's data. I actually created these from our Maximo data server connection. This is my data module, if you might remember. And I had also brought in some CSV information. But I'm really going to start mostly up here with asset. If I click on the hammer, I can see my tools, what's very important to me that I might want to include in my report content. I can see my page content as I build it, and then also my queries. But let's start here. And the first thing I want to do, just to make sure that I stay on track, is to add a text item. And I want to give this a name. I'm going to call it my Boston Assets. Let's keep it really simple. Now what I want to do is I'm going to create a list. So I bring over my list. It says, do you want to name it? Right now I'm not going to name it. I'm just going to leave it. And now what it gives me is this template that I'm going to start populating. How do I populate anything? Well, I come back over here and I simply select my attribute and drag it and drop. Note you want to get it right in that line there. I saw that long black vertical line. Well, let's build up our content and continue to add some more fields. Let's grab description. Let's grab location. Maybe I want to grab my failure code. Perfect. Maybe I want to grab manufacturer. See how easy it is here to build up the content that you want in your data set. I'm going to also bring in a couple of cost fields, total cost of my asset. Now look what happens when I bring in a cost field. It automatically puts that aggregation for me. How super is that? I love that fact with Cognos. He's doing the work for me, so I don't have to do that. I can come down here and grab my total downtime. Oops. Now, this is a common error that I do all the time. It's saying that I get a new singleton. I don't really want that, so I'm going to undo that, and let me try that again. Got to be really careful when you drag and drop. Make sure you see that black line, vertical line highlighted, because that's a really important thing that you want to make sure you get. Let's use this search filter that we've been talking about. And notice when I search, it looks through my entire data set. So here's my site ID, but I also had a site in my CSV file. Well, I actually want to grab my site ID from here, but think about what I just did. I'm actually looking at the entire Maximo database, so I need to put a filter on that. So how am I going to put a filter on site so I only look at Boston? Well, let's create a custom filter. So Cognos is going out, looking at my data set. It says these are all the sites that I have in my particular data set. Well, I only want to look at Bedford. So I add Bedford and click OK. And so now my data is being filtered again. So I'm only looking at my, did I say Bedford? Excuse me, my Boston data site. Let me just double check that. Yeah, I know I did Boston. All right, so I've got a good number of fields here. It looks pretty good. The other thing that I could do is maybe I do want to grab something from companies. Let's say company type right next to my manufacturer. See what happens there. Perfect. I think that's pretty good to start. Now let's think about some other things that we could do. I mentioned grouping. That's so important, right? Because if I preview my data, and let's do that here. If I click on my little eyeball, I can see the different things that I can look at. So my eyeball is going to show me a preview, a subsection of data, and it looks like I did filter on site Boston, so I got to fix that. That's okay, no problem. I want to go back to my page design. Let's click on that filter and do this right. Edit filters. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to actually just delete the filter, remove all filters. Let's try this again and do it the right way, Pam. Create a custom filter. Perfect. Boston. Boston. There we go. Boston assets. That's what I want to look at. So I want to preview that again. Perfect. See how it's easy? Oh, I love this, right? It's so easy to correct your mistakes. And we definitely always do that when we're building content. The other thing I want to do is I do want to add a grouping. If you don't know what the icons stand for, and I always forget, they look very similar to me, is I just, do that hover over to make sure you get the right functionality. And so now I've grouped on location. Let's take a look at that again, page preview. Oh my goodness, this is looking so clean, right? So now I can see for all my assets and locations in Boston, these are my assets. So in I can't even read this, but you guys could see that L11, my very first location, I've got these 5 assets. Here's my failure codes, my manufacturer. Here's my type. Type is manufacturer here, the total cost and the total downtime. Wow, I just did that in a matter of minutes, and I even made so many mistakes along the way. So how exciting is that? The other thing that you can do if you're interested is you can click on this button over here, and it gives you a whole bunch of run options. So if you want to double check how your report is going to actually look to your end users or whoever is reviewing the content, you can either open it up in a PDF view, an HTML view, so you can see how professional it looks. Isn't that beautiful? Wow, within just a matter of minutes. So, so powerful. Well, let me come back over here. Let's save it. And I'm going to go ahead and call this my first report and save. And now when I come back home, here again is my tile that I've created for my very first report. If I want to, again, run, let's bring it up in HTML. Let's go ahead and run it. And within, again, just a matter of minutes, really powerful content that we've been able to create. Oh, I guess I didn't select the button. And here he comes. So again, what we've done with this, we brought in attributes from a couple of different tables, asset and companies. We've done a filter on site ID. We took advantage of Cognos and how it automatically aggregated our fields, and we also did a quick grouping on location. So that is a very quick introduction to creating reports in Cognos Analytics. There's many more resources available online for creating Cognos content, and I definitely highlight and encourage you to explore those. And then in the next video series, what we're going to do is we're now going to create an active report, and an active report is where the user can interact with the content, as the content that I showed you is static. Okay, so thank you very much for your time.